Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're once again doing something a little bit different. I did a makeup tutorial today, but it's not just any makeup tutorial, it's actually a Joker makeup tutorial. So I figured with Halloween and spooky season right around the corner, you know, it's already October, we're in the middle of spooky season and everybody's trying to figure out what to be for Halloween. I figured I would give this makeup tutorial to people who maybe don't want to go out and buy an elaborate costume and they just want to kind of use the stuff that they have at home. And I did all of this just using makeup that I already had, and you don't really need to spend a lot of money to achieve something that can look really cool and people will compliment. The only thing that did cost money was the wig, but you could easily buy semi-permanent hair dye, or you could get like the temporary hair dye that's just, you like paint it in with hair chalk and then it just lasts like a day. I think that would be totally fine just if you wanted to do it for a Halloween party or for a Halloween night or something like that. And I really hope that you guys enjoy this tutorial, and I hope that some of you guys try it out. And please let me know what you think in the comments of how good I did on this tutorial. If you want to see how to achieve this look, please keep watching. Alright guys, so let's get started with the makeup. Normally I like to go for a really glowy base. I like my skin to look really glowy at all times. That's usually the look that I go for, but today I'm actually going to put a big emphasis on matte makeup because his skin is always really matte no matter which version you look at. I'm not going to make it too costumey, so I don't want to apply like pure white makeup or anything like that. It's just going to be a normal base, but I am going to make it a little bit more matte than I usually do. Alright, so to start off with our base, I'm going to go in with the Revlon Photo Ready Prime Plus Perfecting and Smoothing Makeup and Skincare Primer. This is one of the only primers I have that's for matte, like to make the skin more matte and smooth. The rest of the primers that I have all are pretty much glowy. Alright, so shake it up, take a couple of pumps of that in my hand, and go all over the face. One thing I do like about this primer is that it's very, very tacky on the skin, which allows the foundation to sit really nicely on it and like stick to it and become one, which if you're going to wear this to like a Halloween party or a costume party would be perfect because it'll literally stay all night. So next we're going in with some foundation. I wanted to use a thicker foundation than I normally use, one that's on the more full coverage side, because his face is always really just matte and airbrushed and perfect, same with Harley Quinn's. So I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Shape Tape Cloud Coverage. I'm in the color Light Neutral. I'm gonna take a few pumps of that on the back of my hand. And then I'm gonna be taking a Morphe R6 brush. It's like a stippling brush. And I'm just gonna be applying that all over my face. Blending it down the neck as well. Alright, after I've distributed all that foundation, I'm just gonna take a sponge. I think this is just a little, like, generic beauty blender pretty much. And I'm just gonna make sure it's damp, and I'm just going to blend all that foundation into my face. Alright, after foundation, we're moving on to concealer. My favorite concealer of all time is the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover, and this is in the color L400 Classic Ivory. And I'm just gonna take this under my eyes and on any blemishes that I have, just so that the skin, again, just looks really perfect. Although the Joker does have dark circles, that's not really, like he has, obviously his eyes are like hollowed out and dark. That's not really the look that I'm going for particularly. I'm gonna cover up my dark circles, even though in reality, I should probably darken them. So make one little stripe there and another little stripe there. And then I'm gonna be blending it out with the ColourPop E23 brush. And you can just see already, I've only done one eye, but just what a difference that makes to the brightness of this side and how this side looks a lot more done and it looks a lot more cohesive and like it's, you know, all one color, whereas this kind of looks like it's missing something around the eyes. It looks a little down. This definitely looks a lot more bright. Something else I'm kind of subtly doing is just making the concealer kind of go out to almost the tail of the brow and just be like a line which is lighter, obviously, than my eyelids, just so that when we go in with the wings and the eyeshadow, it kind of all follows the shape of looking very uplifted. That's just a little trick that I like to use. All right, after we're done with the eyes, we're just gonna go in over any blemishes that I see on my face. I'm just blending these out with the same ColourPop E23 brush. All right, next, after we finished this part of the base, we're gonna finish up the base makeup with some powder. So I'm gonna use the e.l.f. HD powder, which is just like a sheer powder. I normally go for the e.l.f. Halo Glow powder, but like I said, today we're going for a much more matte look. The Halo Glow powder is amazing, but it definitely adds some glowiness to the skin, which I normally like, but today we're definitely going for more matte-ness, so we're gonna go for the HD powder. Also, just a little side note, I do really like using the E23 brush from ColourPop for concealer. I find that using a brush for concealer gives me a lot more precision and it blends it out a lot better. When I use a sponge, I just find that a lot of the product gets soaked into the sponge, which is fine when I'm blending out foundation because I don't want it to be too cakey or thick, which I feel like can happen if I just use a brush. I also don't like the brush lines that get stuck on my face when I just apply it with a brush. But I find that when I apply concealer with a brush, it's best just to leave it there. I don't really get brush lines because I can just look really closely with the mirror and get all of those out. And the powder usually just sets it all in place so that it doesn't look like there's any lines. So I'm just taking this powder in the cap, get a little bit in there. And then I'm gonna take this brush from Real Techniques. The words on it faded, so I don't know exactly what the brush is called, but I believe it's called the Setting Brush by Real Techniques. Just a little kind of pointed up at one edge brush. And I'm just gonna swirl that in the powder, tap off the excess, and go right under. I'm gonna start with going underneath my eyes. I like to go on the eyelid as well, and just set all of that in place. Now I'm gonna take that same powder and just go over every place I concealed after the eyes, so all the blemishes. I also think if you are someone that is oily, applying powder in the T-zone, a matte powder in the T-zone would be really beneficial for this to make sure that all your makeup stays set. I also like to go just in my smile lines because those are the places that tend to crease first. So although I don't have to powder my entire face because my face tends to be more on the like dry to normal side, I do always have to set my smile lines. I think I'm really gonna emphasize the contour, blush, and highlight and just do like a really stark contrast on the cheekbones. Something else is just the fact that the Joker has such a thin face. Like every Joker pretty much has had just such a thin face and very carved out features. He is drawn with a very accentuated and square jawline. So I'm gonna try and mimic that almost without looking too masculine. All right, so for bronzing and contouring, I'm gonna use the Becca Chloe Malika palettes, and I'm going to be taking the contour shade right there, and I'm gonna be taking that on a ColourPop F31 brush. Just swirl it around. I'm gonna tap off a little bit of the excess, but not too much because I do want it to be pretty accentuated. And I'm just gonna take that right in under where my cheekbones are. You can kind of see I already naturally kind of have a line where my cheekbones stick out. If you don't do that face, try to suck in your face just to see where your natural line is and then do it right where that line is. This is gonna really accentuate the bone structure. It looks wild right now, but we're gonna blend it out, don't worry. And I'm gonna take some more of that just underneath my jawline to again really accentuate that. Okay, once I look crazy, I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush. This is the Morphe R2, and I'm just gonna blend all of that out. All right, now that my cheekbones are all carved out, I'm gonna take that same contour shade and I'm gonna take it on an e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush. And I found that this brush is absolutely perfect for nose contour. So I'm gonna take that and try to make my nose look thin and elongated and just kind of match the rest of like the carved out face. I'm also gonna take some of that contour powder and put it just right above my lip, like the very bottom part of my Cupid's bow, and right below my bottom lip. This is gonna make the lips appear bigger and poutier, which is what I want for this look. All right, going back in with that R2 brush, I'm just gonna blend all of that out again. When it comes to blending, I guess it's really up to you how much you want to blend, but my advice is always to overblend rather than underblend, because I think that the harsh lines, if you leave them there, they just look so weird and it looks so fake. So I'd much rather overblend and then apply some more if I feel like I blended too much than look underblended and like it's not real. All right, once contouring is all done, I'm gonna go in with some blush. This is the NARS Deep Throat Blush. It's like a really pretty pink with a little bit of golden undertones. Again, not trying to look too glowy, but I still am going to accentuate this part of the cheek, not too much in the center. So I'm gonna go like this just to really give that illusion of a very long, stretched out face. And this is a pretty color that will also accentuate the eyeshadow. And just for reference, I'm applying this right above the contour shade, not making it too distinctive from each other. I'm gonna start blending the blush almost in with the contour, just that it all looks like one solid thing. Again, blending that all out with the R2 brush. All right, once that blush is blended out, we're gonna go into the last face step for now, which is highlighter. Now, I don't wanna go too crazy with the highlighter because like I said, I want the skin to be mostly matte, just some highlight on the cheekbones and down the nose. And this is my most icy highlighter, which is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Powder Glow Illuminator. This is in the color N202 Rose. All right, going in with another Real Techniques brush. This is the 011 brush, and it's a little shaped differently, and it's just a fan brush. You can really use any fan brush, and I'm just swirling all those colors together and taking it down my cheekbone, ending it right where my cheekbone is at its highest point, so that when you smile, you get a little bit of that glow, but it's not so intense that you're constantly seeing a glow. I'm also just gonna take it on the tip of the nose, like I said, and right up the nose bridge. One last time, taking that R2 brush, and I'm just going to blend it a little bit, but not too much. All right, so taking a break from the face, we're gonna move in to the eyeshadows, which is the fun part. All right, so the goal is to go in for a really purpley eye look, because the purple will contrast with the green, which is obviously the color scheme that he's known for. Keeping with the theme of looking really up and long and lifted, I'm going to do most of my eyeshadows focusing on the outer corners so that the eyes look almost fox eye-ish instead of looking round and doe-eyed. So I'm gonna start with the transition shade. I'm going into the Morphe Disney Mickey and Friends Truth Be Told palette, and I'm gonna take this color right here called Audacious, which is like a light purple. And I'm gonna take that on a Morphe M441 brush, just a fluffy brush. And I'm gonna work that into the outer corners of my eyes. All right, then I'm gonna just blend that through the crease a little bit with the e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender. Even though it looks dirty, there's nothing on it. Just kind of taking that all over just to seamlessly blend out the eyeshadow. Once that transition shade is all set, I'm gonna be taking the color Aw Goody right here, this pure purple color, and I'm gonna be taking that on a Real Techniques 005 brush, which is just like a flat eyeshadow brush. Really packing that onto the brush, and I'm gonna take that all over my lid, also going into the crease. As you can see, it's a super vibrant purple. And as you can also see, I'm really dragging it up into the crease so that we can blend that out as well. Back to blending. All right, next I'm gonna take the color Out Loud, which is a lot darker purple. I'm gonna focus that mainly on the outer parts of my eyelids and also the outer corner of the crease. So taking that flat eyeshadow brush again, I'm gonna dip into that color and very lightly go into the outer part of the eyelid. And then of course taking that fluffy blender brush again and just kind of blending everything together. All right, so now taking this little flat brush that almost looks like the contour one, the nose contour one that we used, although this one is a little bit smaller. I don't know exactly what this is. I think it's a Morphe brush, like a Morphe collaboration brush, but writing again faded, so I don't know what it's called, but any kind of brush like this would work. And I'm gonna dip into Very Vixen right on the end here, the darkest purple shade, and I'm gonna take this brush and just focus it on the outer lash line. Now I'm gonna be taking a tiny blending brush, which is like a really tiny brush like this. This is again from the same Morphe collab, I don't remember which one it is. And I'm just gonna blend that out. Now focusing again more on the lid, I'm gonna take the shade Super Sassy right here. And I'm gonna take that again on the flat eyeshadow brush, really packing it on there. And I'm just gonna put that all over my lid, kind of avoiding the outer part a little bit, not applying it as thickly to the outer part because the outer part is where we put all the dark eyeshadow and you don't wanna cover that up. So mostly on the inner to middle lid right there. So what I normally do for shimmery shadows is I apply them first with a brush like that can hold product really well. And then I'm just gonna take my middle finger and apply it with my finger as well, just to really get that shimmery pigment on there. I think it looks a lot better. I'm gonna dip into a different palette just real quick to go for another shimmery purple. So this is the Morphe 35C Everyday Chic palette. And these colors actually don't have names, so I'm just gonna dip into this one right here. Again, doing the same trick where I'm gonna first apply it with the eyeshadow brush, and after I'm just gonna apply it with my finger. Alright, once that's done, I'm gonna take a break from the upper eyes for a second and focus on the lower lash line. I'm going back into the Morphe Mickey and Friends palette, and I'm basically gonna apply most of the same shadows that I did on the top, just on the bottom. And I'm gonna be taking that same little small eyeshadow blending brush. So I'm gonna first go in with the color Audacious, just like we did up top, going all across the lower lash line and kind of connecting it to the eyeshadow up top. Alright. And in between each color that I'm putting on the lower lash line, I'm gonna blend it out with that same little blender brush we used earlier. Next, going back in with All Goody right there. Again, over the full lower lash line. Alrighty, next I'm just gonna take a little bit of Out Loud. Now for this one, I am gonna focus it only on the outer part of the lower lash line. Same thing we did like on the top of the lids, just on the bottom. Now I'm not gonna go in with that dark color that we used up top to smudge it out, because I think that going too heavy with the lower eyeshadow can cause the eyes to look a little droopy, which is not what we want. We want them to look really uplifted. All right, then I'm gonna take that same brush and dip into the shimmery shadows that we used. So I'm gonna take that first color, Super Sassy, right in the middle. And I'm only focusing this on the inner part of the lash line. It basically is doing a circle, right? So we're doing the shimmery shadows on the inside and connecting them like a V right there. And the outer shadows are gonna be the darker ones connecting right there, so that it all looks seamless. I feel like so far, before anything else, this could almost go for an Ursula look, like all the purple. And then going back into that Everyday Chic palette, I'm gonna take that same shimmery shadow that I did before, the one right there. Alrighty, after that, all that eyeshadow is applied, for just a second, I'm gonna take a break from around the eyes and I'm actually gonna go to the eyebrows. And I'm gonna stick to that Morphe palette, the Mickey and Friends palette. And I'm gonna take an angled brush. Any angled brush will do. I'm just using the e.l.f. small angled one. And I'm actually gonna be mixing two colors. So I'm gonna take the color Max Power and the color Wild one right here. I'm gonna mix both of those and then just literally fill in my eyebrows like I normally would with a brown pencil. So starting at the tail end right there of the brow. If you want to go with the darker green, you can. I think that'd look really cool, but I'm trying to mostly match it to the wig that I have, so it's a little bit on the lighter side. Kind of just matching the shape of my normal brow. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. At the end of the day, they're green eyebrows, so they'll look crazy regardless. This is a lot easier, obviously, if you have lighter hair, but since my hair is pretty dark, it's a little hard to get any pigment to really show. I definitely have to pack a lot of eyeshadow on there. But if your eyebrows are light, you probably want to go a little bit more light-handed. Or if you just have sparser brows, you probably can go a little bit more light-handed on that. All right, starting to look more like Joker already. After that, I am done with the brows. All right, now going in with eyeliner. I'm taking the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliner in the color Blackout. It's just a black eyeliner. I'm just gonna take this in my upper waterline and my lower waterline. Now I'm taking just another angled brush So I'm gonna take the ColourPop E30 brush, which is just a small, tiny little angled brush. And I'm actually gonna start with the color Very Vixen, again from the Morphe Mickey and Friends palette. I'm taking that all over the brush, and I'm basically just gonna wing it out. I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker than I usually do because we are going in with falsies today, but I would like it not cover up the entire eyeshadow. So I'm basically connecting it all the way back to where we originally put that line of the Very Vixen color, and I'm just connecting it to that. Now that we've set down the dark purple, I am gonna go back in to the Morphe Everyday Chic palette, and I'm just gonna take this black color, this like pure black color right here, taking that on the same angled brush, and I'm just gonna go right over the purple. Just basically darkening up everything that we just did with the wings so you could see that it stands out just a little bit more. Alright, once the wings are done, there's one more little thing that I wanted to do on the left side of my face. And I'm gonna take just any little, I don't even know where I got this brush, but it's just a tiny little, almost lip brush. And going back into that Mickey and Friends palette, I'm gonna be mixing the color Life's Short, which is a red color, and Bat Those Lashes, which is like a dark burgundy magenta color. I'm gonna mix both of those together, and I'm gonna create a little bit of a scar going down. And as you can see, I'm taking this just on the top right there and kind of sharpening it to a point at the end. Pretty small on the top, and then I'm just gonna connect it from the bottom to like midway through my nose. Then just do the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. Alrighty, now we're gonna go in with some falsies and some mascara. Alright, I'm gonna start by curling my lashes, just with an eyelash curler. And then I'm going to be using some lashes from Ardell. This is from their Texture Eyes Lashes little kit. Go big or go home for the Joker. I'm gonna go with the bottom ones that are really long and fluffy. And it actually comes with an applicator, but I'm not gonna use that glue. I prefer the liner glue, so I'm just gonna use my own Duo liner glue and pop these babies on. In my opinion, the liner glue works so much better and is so much easier to use. So as you can see, the lashes are super extra, but I love it. All right, I'm gonna give those a couple minutes just to dry down, for the glue to dry down. And in the meantime, I'm gonna take the Physicians Formula Eye Booster 2-in-1 Boosting Eyeliner and Serum in the color Ultra Black. And I'm not gonna use this on my eyes. Instead, I'm actually gonna just draw in some of his tattoos that he has. So I'm only gonna do it on this side. Since we have the scar on this side, I don't want it to be too much everywhere. So I'm just gonna do haha like over here, and then I'm just gonna do J right next to the bottom of my eye right there. Just darkening it up a little bit so you can actually kind of read what it says. All right, and then I'm just gonna take the J right on the bottom. Very simple, just right there. All right, the eyelash glue should be pretty dried down by now. So I'm gonna go in with the Essence Lash Princess mascara, and I'm just gonna take this to blend my natural lashes with the fake eyelashes, as well as going on the lower lashes as well. All right, after the mascara is done, one of the most important parts is of course the lipstick and the lips. So first I'm gonna take just a clean tissue and wipe off all of the foundation and concealer that got on my lips. All right, and then first I'm gonna go in with a lip liner. This is the darkest lip liner that I have. This is the Milani Easy Liner for Lips in the color Most Natural. And it just is like it's kind of like a dark mauvey brown. And I'm just gonna line my lips as well as fill them in and overline them a little bit because I do want them to look poutier. At the end of the day, you can be kind of messy with it when you're doing it because, I mean, we're gonna smear it anyways and his smile is like off. One of the great things about doing makeup for a person like Joker is that any mistake kind of looks like it was intentional and you can make it look like it was intentional. All right, after I've completely lined and filled in my lips, I'm also gonna take it just a little bit at the ends to kind of accentuate the smile so that it's not just right here, because he's known for having, you know, the really stretched out smile. So I'm just gonna slightly line the outsides. And that way when you smile, it looks creepy, I'm not gonna lie. All right, I'm gonna kind of smear and smudge it a little bit, but not too much. And then of course we're going with the iconic red. I'm using the Makeup Revolution liquid lipstick, and this is from the collab that they did with The Simpsons. So this is the Treehouse of Horror liquid lipstick, and it's just pure red. And I'm just gonna take this all around my lips and slightly bring it out to the sides as well. Now the thing about this step is you have to work really quickly because it's a liquid lipstick, so it's gonna dry quickly. So if you have a red lipstick, I would recommend that, but I only own a liquid lipstick. All right. And then I'm gonna start smudging it. So to smudge it, I'm first just gonna take it on my finger while it's still wet, just to get off all of the excess. And then I'm just gonna literally smear it on the side, like that. I'm gonna bring it all the way down like that. And once you're done with that, we are officially done with the makeup. I kind of feel the need to keep smiling because obviously the Joker is known for smiling. Yeah, the finishing touch is just gonna be to add the wig. All right, and here's the finished look with the wig and all. I think the wig really ties it together, the green hair. If you wanted to get a wig that didn't have bangs, I probably would recommend that a little bit more, just because the bangs do cover you know, the work that we did on the eyebrows, as well as the tattoo over here. I think that the wig really brings it together and makes you able to tell who it is. And then of course I wore purple to represent it a little bit better. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys try out the makeup look. I appreciate you guys watching this video. And if you did like this video, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!